Okay, kids, it's time for another episode of the Fueled by Weird podcast, and this one is More Than Meets the Eye. I'm Chris Daly, and I recently had the opportunity to sit down with Daniel Warren Johnson and talk about his upcoming Transformers series, expressing his new love of pro wrestling in Do a Powerbomb, and more. Well, first of all, thank you so much for making time for me today. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, dude, you're welcome. Of course.
Very
Nice to
awesome.
meet you.
Yeah, you as well, sir. All right, so first question I've got for you is, with
Hit me.
Transformers being a property that's been around since we were kids, and I'm just going to go ahead and assume that you and I are probably pretty close in age.
How old are you?
I'll be 39 next week.
Okay, I'm 36.
Okay, so we're pretty close.
Yeah.
So with Transformers being something that's been around since we were kids, it's been around for forever. When Image and Skybound approached you to write to do the new series, what was going through your head? How are you feeling? Like, take us through.
So, to be totally honest, when I got the call about doing Transformers, I was like, I don't know about this because licensed comics have a bit of a reputation.
Sure.
Um, and one of the big reasons that got me to seriously consider it is the person that reached out from Skybound was Sean Makowitz, who was my editor on Extremity and Murder Falcon from
Oh,
on my
nice.
Skybound books previously.
Hmm.
And we had a really great working relationship, and we had stayed in touch uh, ever since I stopped doing Skybound books. And he was like, "We got the license, and he just kind of phrased it like, would you ever consider doing Transformers?" And I was like, "Oh, maybe, But the more that I thought about it, the more that I was kind of looking at my own kind of path, and I had just finished Do a Powerbomb, or I was finishing a drawing Do a Powerbomb at the time, and I was very tired, and I kind of wanted somebody to tell me what to do for a little bit. Creator-owned books have a tendency to run me a little ragged, not in a bad way, but I just there's so much work with the promotional element of it, wondering if the book's gonna sell. There's more stress, there's more sleepless nights. It's more rewarding ultimately, like no lie, but it's way more work. So working on Transformers is kind of like a break. And the more that I thought about it, the more that I was like, I think I need a break. Um, and Transformers is that. I mean, it's really fun to work on. The stakes are a lot lower. Um, I mean, I love Transformers, but like in
Yeah,
no way am I as passionate about Transformers as I am like about my own stuff.
right.
But because with that passion comes a draining of one's own lifeblood.
Sure.
uh, Whereas, we're working with Hasbro and Skybound, there are notes that come with working with a big company that force me to distance myself a little bit from it in a kind of like a healthy way,
Sure.
honestly. Um, so thinking about all those things and also just how much I did, like you said, love Transformers growing up, I was like, you know what? It might be time. And I'd always been trying to draw Optimus Prime since I was like in first grade, and I always sucked at it.
Yeah.
And around third or fourth grade, I just friggin' gave up. It was too hard.
Yeah.
Uh, but when I got that call from Sean, I was like, it might be time to figure this out.
Very nice.
Yeah, dude.
That's awesome. All right, so that kind of rolls into my next question. With these already established IPs like Transformers, your work with Beta Ray Bill and Wonder Woman, um,
Yep.
how much input did you get on those stories? Did you get to come up with your own ideas for those? Did they come to you with specific plot points that they wanted you to hit, or was it some kind of like a mix of the two?
It was a little bit of the mix of the two because Skybound had a big document that they had pitched Hasbro initially to get the property and to get the license to make the comics. And that's what they showed me before I signed on the dotted line to make sure I was okay with the fact that they had some big moments within their kind of plan for the future going forward that they wanted me to be a part of and be willing to work with. And I thought it was great. There's some great ideas in there. It's really exciting to see what's coming. Um, and they basically left the characters that I wanted to use, the action set pieces, the Transformers that I put in there. They gave me full, control with that. So there are these big islands in place, and I was the one who kind of designed the bridges to each one. Um,
Okay.
and for this first arc, so much of it is about introducing people who maybe are either lapsed Transformers fans or never really cared in the first place, or maybe who are younger than you and I.
Yeah.
There's a wide audience I feel that I think I felt, and I felt Skybound was felt too, that we were really trying to tap into. And um, with that vibe, it kind of was a great way to start fresh and a way for me to kind of put my own fingerprint on the characters and on the story and on the visual look that I was just really excited to share with people. And so yeah, so long sorry, short answer is it was a bit of both. But it was a fun process, and I have been left to my own devices in a lot of ways, which has been nice too.
That's
Just kind
cool.
of rock and roll. Yeah, they're not over here being like, and then Optimus does a suplex. That's all me.
That's awesome. And yeah, like you said, putting your own fingerprint on it, you can definitely tell when you're flipping through the racks at the comic book shop that, yep, this is a DWJ. You can just tell because you have that specific style that's just so amazing.
Hell yeah.
For sure.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
That's my favorite kind of compliment.
Oh, we're gonna get to some more, I promise, before we're done.
Oh, I love it. Come on, shower me, shower me.
So for my next question, you had said that, already established IPs are a little bit, tricky sometimes, but if you could pick one that you've never had the chance to work on, which one would it be?
I'd really love to do like a 90s style like X-Men comic,
Oh
or
man.
maybe not X-Men, like Hearts of Darkness vibe,
Okay.
like the like the Ghost Rider version with the big like motorcycle that like makes no sense. It has like the two
Yeah.
eyes,
Yeah,
and the John Romita Jr. Punisher with like the big cloak and like the Uzi that's like
yeah.
this big, like this long. It's more fat than it is long.
Oh man, yeah.
Um, yeah, dude, that'd be really fun.
Yeah, that would be awesome. And you said X-Men too. I think you would kill on a 90s X-Men for sure.
Oh, dude, oh my gosh, I can just see it. I can see it now. Just having like blue and yellow Cyclops, just getting like his arms and legs cut off. Oh, dude.
Man, it'd be awesome. All right, so I have to tell you, I mentioned I'm going to be bringing some more compliments, and they're about to come, so get ready.
Here, hit me.
Murder Falcon and Do a Powerbomb are two of the greatest books I've ever read. They're
Thank
they're
you.
incredible. They're so full of emotion and drama. And when I read Do a Powerbomb, it legitimately was a book that made me pick my job several times with some of the twists and unexpected things that happened. It was incredible. And it's more I'm a big wrestling fan myself, and it's more than just it being about wrestling because
Mm,
they've said wrestling really isn't wrestling. And you did a really good job of you made a book about wrestling, but it's not really about wrestling. It's more about emotions and relationship and connections. So with these very gripping emotional books, where do you pull the inspirations for stories like this?
for things like Transformers or just in general?
Well, just like yeah, I mean, it could be for the IP stuff, it could be for your own creator own stuff.
Mm. It's a good question. I'm not really quite sure where it comes from. I just I have this sense of like things that get me excited as a person. Like a lot of times it happens when I go see a movie that I really love, that I feel can be kind
Yeah.
of life changing.
Hmm.
And there have been a few movies that I've walked out of, like Children of Men is one. The first time I saw Aliens, like I'm just thinking to myself as the credits are rolling, I'm like, I'm so glad I was alive at this point in the history of the universe that I was able to
Yeah.
watch this, like,
Yeah.
and be a part of its like, not a part of its making or anything, but like, you know, it's now a part of me. Like I have that moving forward, and that's kind of what I'm trying to do with my comics. Like I really want to give people something that I feel is special and I feel can last a little bit longer than maybe what people would consider, genre fiction to be capable of.
Yeah.
Um, so that's honestly a goal. of mine. So I'm really sifting the ideas until I find something that I feel like has legs to like really make it and do that for someone else and have the ability to make a connection with another person. So um it sometimes it's like it'll stumble like on me like with Wonder Woman uh an editor reached out, Andy Curry reached out to see if I would be willing to do a DC book, and um I'm over here like pitching him Dial H for Hero and you know Pa Kent stories. He's like, we need more A-list stuff, like maybe pick from the top three, Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman.
Yeah,
And I'm just thinking about it, and I was just letting my mind go, and I was like, what feels right? And it just felt like there was a possibility for me to get there, like what I've been talking about with Wonder Woman. And so I'm just trying to listen to what my head and my heart are telling me at the same time. And a lot of times things just feel right. And Transformers is one of those things. It felt right. It just, I when I said yes, I was like, I think there's an opportunity to do something special here. Um, and set the tone of a new ongoing series. So that's always the goal. I don't know that I always get there. Um, but as to what fuels them, it's just I'm trying to be honest with myself as I tell the story at the same time.
that's fair.
Uh I feel like it's quite easy to like hide behind a mask of like sci-fi or superheroes or
For sure.
robots, and
Yeah.
I am trying to pull the this is the only way I know how to write. Like I don't know how to write like I don't know, like a historical novel or like a historical thing, like where I have to do a ton of research, or I only know like what I know and how I feel, and I'm just trying to take my messy feelings and put them on the page.
Sure.
Uh,
I mean, they always tell you to
yeah,
write what you know.
yeah, dude.
That works. All right. So I remember, in the beginning of Do a Power Bomb, you mentioned the main inspiration behind Do a Power Bomb was, you came across New Japan Pro Wrestling. Were you
Yep,
were you a pro wrestling fan before, and are you still a pro wrestling fan?
I'm still definitely a pro wrestling
I
fan.
was gonna say I see that AEW title behind you, and I'm like, you can't not be a wrestling fan and own that beautiful title back there.
Yeah, when you drop that much on the title belt and you have to explain it to your loved one when you get home,
Right?
yes, you got to have some commitment. But I it all started with New Japan. That's where my journey with pro wrestling started. When I was a little kid, I went to you ever hear of Awana?
Yeah.
Yeah, approved workmen are not ashamed, bro.
Yeah,
I'm over
man.
here learning Bible verses,
Yeah.
John 3:16. So I see all these 3:16 shirts. I'm like, bro, you go to Awana? And he's like, what the fuck is an Awana? This is Stone Cold, baby. And I'm like, oh, okay. I don't know what that is. I was not allowed to watch any of that growing up.
Right.
I had very loving parents and they're awesome. But man, they were very vigilant about like what I could and could not look at with my eyeballs.
Sure.
Um, so don't even get me started on what I had to do when I bought Battle Chasers. That shit went under the mattress. There's many a corn CDR ripped CD that said like Dave no what was it Dave Matt no not Dave Matthews Band, one of those famous worship guys like Toby Mac or
Oh
DC
yeah.
Talk, Jesus Freak. You put it in and then it's I wait around and bleed or whatever that song is.
Oh man.
Anyway, that's we're getting on a different tangent, but all that to say, never really had a chance to develop a love for wrestling when I was a kid. So I'm always actively looking for new things to get into as an adult now, especially one that has to kind of rely on inspiration and new things to kind of keep me going. Because you can only like engage with something for so long before it gets a little stale, and you got to find a new way to approach it. Comics are the same way.
Yeah, for sure.
So finding like a new love like wrestling was. It's not like I started watching New Japan and I was like, I'm gonna make a pro wrestling comic. It took a few
Yeah.
years for it to really gestate, but to the point where like I was like, you know what? I could see myself maybe making this into a comic. Um, And but it all started with New Japan, and I'm still a fan now. I don't watch as much New Japan because I've had a hard time since the pandemic for sure. But I keep up to date with the G1. I watch Wrestle Kingdom every year,
Yeah.
and I mostly watch AEW now.
Yeah. Same.
I'm a, I'm a lot frustrated with WWE.
Yep. You,
Um,
you, and just about everybody else.
yeah, I mean, people are people, but like,
Yeah.
I really have a hard time watching something that Vince McMahon is a part of now. I don't
Yeah.
want to like get on a high horse or anything.
No,
I
I,
just,
I got you.
dude, it's hard to get into, man. It's like
I,
I'm like,
yeah.
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 So AEW is kind of fueling the biggest part of that for right now. And did you watch Grand Slam last night?
Oh, dude, that very
Dude,
first match. I don't want to spoil for anyone who might be watching, but Eddie Kingston and Christina, man, I cried. I was so happy. It was so.
dude, dude, and I remember when he went for the TNT title against Miro at All Out 2021.
Mhm.
I was like, because I remember like something funny business happened with the ref where he wasn't paying attention, and they got me. I was that guy in the stands on my feet screaming, "Bryce, you fucking idiot, turn around!"
Yep.
uh,
Oh man,
so I was also so happy, and what a great moment. And did you see his post fight promo?
I did.
He was like talking out of one side of his mouth. Like I think he was all swollen. He
Yeah,
saw like he had
probably.
like welts on his face.
Yeah.
Like it was a fight.
Hmm.
Um, whew, great
Yeah.
show.
Oh man,
I mean,
it's
I hope Mox and Adam are okay, but
yeah,
yeah,
but yeah.
yeah.
It's nice to find fellow pro wrestling fans. I feel like we could be best friends, or we totally should be best friends now because we could talk all day about wrestling, but I don't want to keep
Yes, of course.
I don't want to keep you too much longer. So
I know. Poor Shannon's over here, like, oh, guys, stop talking about wrestling.
I'll have to see if we can get you back to talk all about wrestling. All right.
Right on.
So final question. Do you have
Hit
any
me.
advice for any up and coming creators?
More lines does not equal better. More complicated does not equal better. Uh, more of more does not is not always better. You gotta learn how to make your stories and your art and your lines your own, and learn how to present the best version of yourself to the world, not by trying to be somebody else. That's I don't know. That's kind of esoteric, but
That
there's a whole
works.
lot of people trying to uh, draw and make stories like not themselves, and like it's like I feel like a lot of times the up and comers are the ones that are searching for things outside of themselves to make them go forward. And in reality, the hard truth is that the only thing that's really going to make you stand out is you and celebrating those facts. So, however you make lines, try and lean into it.
That
That's
works.
something that I didn't do for a while, and I wish I'd done earlier. I'm over here trying to draw like Jeff Darrow, and it's just not working. Like, why is this not working?
Because you can only draw like
uh,
you.
you can only draw like me, man. And
Yeah.
I have no patience, and so just lean in,
Hey,
draw
being a
fast.
parent, it's hard to have patience really anymore.
Oh,
You know?
dude, right? Yeah, I'm over here like, just let me finish this panel, please, God.
Yeah,
You know?
seriously.
And they're like running around in circles over here.
Yeah, man. I can totally relate with that.
Oh
All
yeah.
right. Well, again, thank you so much for your time. I want to just thank you from all fans. Just thank you for everything. You're incredible. And
Oh,
hope
dude.
to see more from you in the future. And hopefully, we can be best friends. I can have you back and we can talk about all sorts of other stuff.
Sounds good, bro.
All right, man. Thank you
I'll
very
see you
much.
later.
See ya. Have
Yeah,
a good day.
likewise. Bye bye.
Thanks.
I want to thank Daniel for taking the time to talk with me. And if you want to stay up to date on everything coming from him, check out his website, www.danielwarrenart.com. You'll find his social medias, his YouTube, his newsletter, and you'll be fully in the know of everything coming from him in the future. And to know what's coming from us in the future, what's coming from us now, and what's come from us already, make sure you check out our website, geek-network.com. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter at geeksaz. You can find us at Geek Network on Facebook. Myself, I am CD is weird on Instagram. The music for the show is by Polygon Horizon. They're a great band. Go check them out on Bandcamp. The logos for the show are done by my friends Chris Chandler and Mike Belcher. Make sure you go check them out on all the social medias and make sure you check out their books. And if you like the show, please leave a review and tell your friends. Word of mouth is our friend. And remember, kids, to embrace the things that feel you're weird and always geek responsibly.